So tell me, you were playing in the club when you were about 15, right?
And it was pretty funny, like before turning 18, I managed to open for like Fista's Mixwa,
Nice.
Casper New Vest, Major League, Christos, Vinny, Monique Bingham. And now we take a video and then people think we just capturing the moment. You know how we're going home to Shazam.
What song was that?
We want the track. We come here for business. My whole thing, like whether it's music I put out, whether it's a mix I put out, whether it's a show performance, like where I started with you, from where I'm playing that last song, we must have traveled.
What you putting out, you feel good about, you do something with it and it does something for somebody else.
Yeah.
What happens after you put it out is none of your business.
Yeah, that's God in the universe.
Yeah.
Boom. Support from like Shimza, playing
Nice.
it in Dubai, Lemon and Herb,
Nice.
Hyena, like worldwide support. Kasango was like one of the first people to drop the song and
Nice.
support it. Was like Cairo, playing it at fucking June,
Yeah.
which was also like iconic, like
Yeah,
June
man.
Club Paris, like what the fuck. And her aesthetic, she has this big like poofy afro almost. And my mate was like, can I touch your hair?
No. Yes.
I'll take one person that comes to me and says, bro, that saved my life, over a full house of people dancing.
Could you give me one moment that you feel was like a standout moment for you?
Yeah, like shit, like I think
It all starts with a feeling.
Welcome to Roots FM with your host, Kamanga.
Yeah, but like, this is the thing, right? And I think it goes without saying that the culture is shifting a lot.
yeah.
And this is part of why I'm doing Roots, is to bring that culture back, to bring the roots back of this music and like get to know music, get to know the artists, get to know what this was all about before and keep it alive.
Yeah.
And like, I think I'm gonna take it back to the set that you played. You had so many influences in your music career from the time that you started with Oscar Mbo, Transmike Soul, DJ Strategy, Hit Refresh, like all these influences, even with European music, that kind of culture that we heard. But still today, like, first of all, I was super impressed that you played a whole hour set on CDs. Like, let's just start there. Because I've never seen that.
Yeah.
So that was like, big ups to you. Thank you for sharing that one with us. But
Bless, thank you.
even back then, like, you still had your slapper pouch with all your CDs, right? How, or what was the journey you went through to actually put that set together, or to even just put a whole hour set together with CDs? Like, what does that look like for you compared to now where you're using USBs? I think it's a lot more different now because we have that access to music and we've got platforms like
where you can-
Tracksource, exactly,
for
you
sure.
Beatport, you get all that stuff. But back then, and even you referred to Jazzwell with those intros, like, I love those kinds of sets. I'll go to like Deep Town Josie, I'll go to Christos's parties, Vinny's parties, like just different parties where I hear new music. And the people that always stood out for me was like Jazzwell, Julian Gomez,
Yeah.
Christos, because the music always had its own journey.
Yeah,
and
and was like something so crazy that you hear
Yeah.
things that you never heard before.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck is this in a song?
Yeah.
And it's like rocking.
And the thing was, for me, was those intros. Like, I'll never forget this one day. I was actually watching this set by Julian Gomez at Deep Town Josie where he headlined. I think that was like 2022, I think. But Deep Town Josie was packed. And he started his set with this super dynamic intro with like, it just sounded like I was in the middle of an orchestra kind of vibe, you know? And that's Gomes, that's vintage him. But like, for you, and I think we don't get enough of that anymore, you know, that kind of culture. I miss that stuff.
For sure, storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it takes you, like you said, like that song, it takes you on a journey like a rise, and you just follow that. And I love that. But even for your set, when you're playing with CDs, talk me through how putting a set together for an hour is like with CDs, like looking at that as a backdrop to how your music career was.
So like with that set in particular for the Roots show, like it was to go back to exactly what you just mentioned, like now, like storytelling, like as you said, like I had so many influences, and like even if I wasn't playing, like my brother would always like take me to like these parties where I wasn't the right age to be there, but like I'll just be there and like consume and like listen. And I remember like 15, my brother, there used to be the spot in Newtown called Shikisha, and my brother's wife's uncle used to be like the manager there, and like used to have crazy sound. And like my brother took me this one time, and obviously because knowing like familia, like it's like, yo, bring the kid in, like obviously it's chilled. And that was also like my first time meeting like Clive Bean, and he was playing there. And like he brought this international, Lene Denise was from New York, crazy DJ. And then from there, like if it wasn't me going to that, like my brother would take me to like Kitchener's, like Kid Funk used to do 2 sides of the beat, and like
I remember that.
That used to be crazy, top tier parties. And again, you'd hear like how the sets from even the guys he booked, like how it would just build the whole night. Like it wasn't like like an up and down. You didn't feel tired or like, okay, it's too much or it's too chill. Like it was a constant build. And like I think just also just hearing, consuming, like it goes back, like it instilled a very strong thing of, for me, like when I play, like whether it was from the CD days or like now, it's storytelling. And even like with writing music, like for me, it's very important to like tell your story. And when I use like, for example, jazz as a example with like the dramatic intros or whatever, like that's like, it sets the tone, and it's like you, from where you start to where my whole thing, like whether it's music I put out, whether it's a mix I put out, whether it's a show performance, like where I started with you, from where I'm playing that last song, we must have traveled. We must have moved somewhere, gone someplace, felt different things to reach here. It must have been a journey. We went from here to there. And the same principle like I applied like with preparing like a set on CDs, where, as you're saying, like it's a little bit different now, where like now you just either go on like Spotify or just go on Beatport and like, or you know, or on Record Box, and you like already can place or order, like have an idea or vision of like your set. Whereas there it's like, okay, let me, because also like music I haven't touched for a while, so it's like, okay, let me put it in the CJ, like let's listen. Okay, track 1, okay, no, oh, I remember the song, okay, no, track 2. And then, like some of the discs were like the very earlier ones, like when I copied it, like 15, doesn't even have the title on, so it doesn't even read the title on the CJ, so it's just like track 1, track 2. So now you're like listening, like, oh, which one was the CD with track 6? And it's a lot of also like the songs I played in that set was like a lot of songs that like not only that I grew up with and that I loved playing out when I was playing in that time, but it was also songs that I didn't want to like just drop a plain classic set that like you would expect certain songs to already be there, like this guy just dropped the classics. I wanted to also like play songs that were like at that time, yes, right now those songs are deemed as classics because of the time period and how they've aged, but at that time those were like the underground songs. Those were the songs that when you went to 2 sides of the beat, like you're hearing Kid Funk drop and like nowhere else you'd hear that song being played, or you'd hear Vinny play those songs. Like those were like the underground-esque songs, and then also with the touch of our classicals that we all know and like raised us. And I think also a big thing was like compilations back then, like how you would digest those CDs, which like you'd go, I still remember like when Soul Candy would drop something, House Africa, like I'd go to like Musica, or what was it called back then, like Look and Listen.
Look and Listen,
You'd go with your $100 or however much, ask mom for money, pops for money, like I want to buy the CD, and then you go and listen and you digest, and you just also like hearing from that, and you'd hear how things were blended, how the story was told, like from vocals to instrumentals you'd hear, and like also like from Ashmit our days, like hearing all those mixes, how these guys would like drop from songs that were like mainstream in that scene at that time to like unreleased underground songs. You Shazam it even today, you still can't get the song.
Find it.
And like how they would build like that, really like I got a very good introduction into like storytelling through music.
Sure.
And that's how basically I prepared like the set for Roots. Was I wanted to showcase or take you on a journey of like the sounds that I would listen to and kind of grew up on, but at the same time, like I chose songs that were not also very familiar or like were deemed very like classics at that time. Like if I tell you the title of the name, you're like, oh, who the fuck's that? That kind of thing. So like that was the kind of the set that I wanted to do, and like it was something, as I said, like in the beginning, was something that happened so organically. Like, it was something I always wanted to do, like especially now, like from the kid, that 15-year-old kid to now, like just turned 30. Now having to have like my baby boy next to me doing the set, like it was such a full also like 360 moment for me as well, to be like, fuck, like the kid that used to just dream of just standing in front of CDJs and touching it, like touching the cue button, like, oh my god, I'm spinning the wheel, like just like seeing CDJs or being close to them was like already like, oh my god, my day is complete, like to now where this is what I do for a living and for my life and like as my career and job. Like it's like, wow, like I'm literally living the dream that 15-year-old Z would like envision. And like all it's like, and that's all thanks be to God, to my family as well. Like my family played, even till today, like played a huge role in like my support system. I mean, like as I said, like from my mom fetching me from the club after I've done the set, to like, you know, them supporting me like with even now today, whether like when I'm playing overseas, I have that support system where stuff for studio, if anything goes wrong, or like just the challenges that I face now in life as an adult, like, you know, I have them as like that backbone that's there. And yes, and like we spoke about this earlier, but like, you know, sometimes challenges you face with family, especially choosing the career like this. It's from like our parents, who's like kind of cut from that old cloth. It wasn't deemed or seen as like parents today will see it as a career. We was like, get a real job, like that kind of thing. So don't get me wrong, there was like a lot of clashes in that sense over the time, especially like, I mean, like I'm 30 now, like it's like, hey, what's happening, like, you know, like, and at the end of the day, it always comes from love, and it's not at the time it sometimes feels negative, like, oh fuck, you're just on my ass, or you're pressing me too much. But it's like, it just comes from love and concern that they want the best from you. And
for sure,
it took a lot, and like also my family seeing like how fully I'm in this, like it's this or nothing, and how like just for example, like just the way the things I've accomplished and managed to achieve. And like simple example, like I mean, like last year my music taking me to do 2 shows in London. You know, them seeing that and like seeing like, okay, like this is actually, you know, something tangible. It's actually a career that you can do. Especially like now, like when it's for a long time. Even today, I'm sure you've heard like people tell you a joke or like say it as a joke, like, oh, like you're a DJ, like come on, what's your real job? What's the real 9 to 5? Like, bro, like this is the 9
That's
to 5.
it.
Like, if I'm not performing, I'm in the studio, I'm writing music, preparing sets, and like I'm also a dad to my puppy. Like that occupies my life now. That's like literally, as I said, like 360 moment, like living the dream. And I mentioned earlier about like that hunger that sometimes when you're doing this as like the job now, like it's not just that dream or passion or when you're a kid and it's like, I just have school to focus on, and there's no, I don't have to pay for anything, there's no financial strain or any adult or grown-up stress in your life at that time. Very hungry, but like I feel like that sometimes when you're doing it as a creator, like you get in, especially while I'm speaking for myself personally, like you get into these ruts where you're like, fuck, like, you know, this should be happening now, or you know, you get that hunger sometimes dies, and like it's something I've like faced and like went through recently, is like even like with the struggle with my mental health, is like realizing that where I'm at right now is what I used to like pray and dream of
for sure
as a kid, like relentlessly, like to be able to play a sold out show in another country was like I couldn't even fathom that at that time. For
Yeah.
me, that was, as I keep mentioning, like me just playing on CJs was already like, I don't give a fuck if there was one person, no people, or full house. Like I was just playing, and that was it. Whereas now it's like you think of those things and those certain aspects, like, oh, the sound wasn't right,
Yeah.
or oh, I didn't perform as well.
Yeah. Or I messed up that part in the set.
And you treat it like, like as like the business where it's like,
Yeah.
I have to, like, somebody paid for me to come and perform and deliver a performance. I have to touch your soul and I have to do it at the highest level. I can't come and give you half of me.
Yeah.
And with life, with stress and stuff, sometimes you rock up there and you like nothing left to give.
Yeah.
But you put on that mask and you like, let's go in and like you play that set, and like if it touches one person, it's like
job done.
Roots FM.